Welcome to the podcast of MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine. MotorWeek is made possible by Lucas Oil, Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, and TireRack.com. Your podcast host, Brian Robinson.
Well, hello and welcome to podcast number 294 here from the hallowed halls of MotorWeek World Headquarters. Joining me today is Over the Edge reporter Greg Carlos, digital producer Jessica Ray, and writer Alex Kellum. Welcome, everyone. We're going to spend this show looking at the recent Consumer Electronics Show. Just happened in Las Vegas. More and more cars are becoming tech devices more than automobiles. So it makes sense that every year more and more manufacturers showing up with cars to reveal at the Consumer Electronics Show. I'm not sure that we saw any production vehicles this time around. We have some in the past, but we did see some pretty wild and a few mild concepts. I'm going to get right to the one that I think has gotten the most publicity, and that's the BMW i Vision D sedan. What's everyone's thoughts on the multicolored BMW?
It's a very interesting looking vehicle. And they kept the kidney grill.
Well, you'd have to. Yeah,
and but it's like snouty, very snouty.
You think people went crazy with the new version of it.
Right.
Imagine if they just did away with it altogether.
Right.
Yeah, so it is a sedan, which, as we'll get to a few more in this group. I don't know, with everything going SUVs now, this show is like, oh, it's all sedan stuff except for the Ram. It's a far out concept. I wouldn't expect to see it anywhere close to this when we eventually do see whatever this car becomes. But the whole highlight of the multicolor, you can have any color you want, basically.
E-ink is what it's
at
called.
the touch of a button, which, and I was confused because the last time we saw this, it was just white and black. I thought it was all colors.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is multicolor. This is
32 shades in the spectrum, right? 32 different.
And I think I alluded to this the last time we talked about it. I'm already thinking about how it can be used criminally. Like we're looking for a red BMW. All right, well, I'm green now, so nobody's going to find me.
I mean, it's a really interesting concept because, I mean, it would have been, we didn't see it in person, but its whole point is that it's like, it almost like, was it like it humanizes like it's a human car or something like that?
I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, really.
Like it talks to you.
I saw that movie.
Create a stronger bond between cars and people going forward.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
It's like
Knight Rider.
I mean, it's literally like you're like interacting with the car, like a woman like walked up to it, like talked to her, it's like that grill in the front is like eyes, and it like winked at her.
The
I don't like that. Yeah. Come on,
That's a
man.
lawsuit waiting to happen.
Seriously, this is the first thing we do. That's how we display this interaction between a woman and a car.
I believe the car is also a woman, or it was a woman's voice. I don't know.
I think they had like an avatar like display on
yes. So
bringing Bitmojis as cars.
It's like a Bitmoji, and like
What are we
it can
talking about here?
so like
Oh my
say
God.
you say you walk up to the car, the front door, and it'll display like your profile, and that has like a little like avatar of you, and that avatar can actually be like sitting and seen while you're driving.
What do I even need to exist for?
I mean, it makes sense. It's Consumer Electronics Show. People go crazy for this stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I have no interest in this
It's
particular technology.
Really, you just got your first smartphone. How do you not have? You are an authority. You can speak on the subject now as a smartphone
I may be all in, actually.
You might like it though, because there's no real screen on the inside.
Right, because of the interface, it's actually part of me, right? It knows what I want.
Basically, yeah, it's
Before I
got
know.
like
Yeah.
it's got like lights, and you sort of like touch it, and it's a very weird experience. It seems like it would freak me out to try
I need
it,
to learn more
honestly.
about this. I wish I would have dove deeper into this. This is intriguing. A little scary though.
Some of it was cool. Most of it kind of freaky.
Yeah.
But like, did you see they had like the craziest head-up display I've ever seen?
Yeah, it's
and
the
it'll
full width display.
it'll like everything that you can see, like it marks the path of the road. It like blocks off a pedestrian. Like it's like if you were watching like like Tesla's autopilot thing or full self-drive like work. It's like that, but like
You can see
visualized
it.
on your
Yeah.
windshield.
Yeah, it's like driving with the Cadillac night vision instead of looking out the windshield.
kind of.
It's like a virtual reality version of driving. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why even have a clear windshield?
I don't know. I don't
Hey.
think any of it would be legal. I think it screams autonomy to me, like some sort. But
we'll
it's
see.
a very interesting.
Cool nonetheless.
Yeah.
The digital emotional experience.
Yes,
that's
that's
the
what-
D stands for.
Yeah.
Digital
I
emotional
was wondering what the D.
experience.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing it back home for us there.
I did not do my research. I did not do enough research for this.
You know?
That's why we have you on these
Yeah,
things.
I read that. I was like, hey, it's me streaming Titanic. Like, great.
So, in a similar tech vehicle human interface, Sony is getting together with Honda for their mobility Afeela, right? Is that,
Yes, it's correct.
What exactly is that?
I mean, it's like if you remember 2 years ago at CES, Sony came out with their vision concept, and it kind of blew everybody away. And everybody was kind of like, I would buy that car if it was offered to me. So they have partnered up with Honda, and the prototype that they have not named, they did release a prototype, but the Afeela is the brand.
That's an actual
Right.
brand name
Right.
of an actual vehicle that we will be able to buy at some point.
Ideally in
2026, right?
2026.
Yeah, like pre-orders in 25 and then
Yeah.
deliveries in 26. So all those people saying that they wanted to buy the Vision or whatever, pony up.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is. But yeah,
Or
no,
don't.
I mean, I think it's like a very sleek looking vehicle.
Yeah.
It's kind of plain, to be honest, but I think in the way that like it has like that same look that Tesla has in a way, and it's very clearly tailored toward people who are interested in a very tech focused vehicle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has like
Yeah.
45 cameras in it.
Yeah, 45 camera. That's what I took away from my limited research here. Was 45 cameras and sensors, and it makes sense because this is the Consumer Electronics Show.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't really talk about driving. I mean, like I'm looking at these cars except for the ID7, which we'll bring up, and it's like there's driving is way back in the back of everybody's heads at these things. So like. You know,
Yes.
you look at it as like, wow, like that is a cool car, but like, is it really a car? If like I know it's like supposed to do car things, but like everything exciting about it has nothing to do with car things. Because like this is it's a like what were you calling it, Alex? Like it's an entertainment experience, right?
Yeah. So the I think I've read where the infotainment, which by the way, like when you look at it, it's like two like very large screens that go across the dash, maybe multiple screens, and then I think they have like mirrors, like digital mirror kind of things.
Yes, they do.
And the screen is supposed to have like they're partnering because you know it's Sony, so PlayStation, they're partnering with Epic Games, so you know your kid can get Fortnite clips while you drive, which is like cool, I guess. That's the future we're heading towards. But yeah, it's like definitely more tailoring towards like the entertainment side of things, being able to like stream things and to like have like really bring the entertainment and the infotainment. You know,
It's almost like we're at the point where designers are like, we're not actually going to be doing the driving in these vehicles. Now, what else are we going to be doing?
like
right?
how are you going to kill the time?
Sitting and charging, right?
What's that?
Sitting when you're sitting and
while you're
charging,
charging.
right?
Or
Watching
when you're letting
movies,
the
playing
computers
games.
do the driving.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say is they put the yoke in this, and I'm tired of seeing the yoke because I just don't like the yoke steering wheel.
I still want to give it a try. I mean, I haven't. I'd love to if anybody wants to offer up their Plaid or whatever has the yoke, and I think Lexus's EV they.
Oh, the
offered-
RZ, yes.
Yeah.
But the two, I think we talked about it before, two very different implementations of the yoke.
Right. Still, I mean, I want to give it a shot
But yeah.
before I
Yeah.
really trash it.
That was
True.
something that was like the future like 20 years ago. And it's like,
But
now
like,
it's like,
well, what everybody ignores is that like it's terrible to use on a daily. Like again, I haven't used one, but like what I know about race car steering wheels is like if you're just trying to drive around the paddock, I mean, it's like impossible. Like you can't just just drive this thing. It's made specifically for one purpose.
I know Michael Knight made it work pretty good in Knight Rider. So.
True.
Yeah, the only other thing about the Afeela prototype, and it kind of reminds me of the BMW, is this like trend we're going towards, or at least trend we're seeing in concepts of like communicating with outsiders, like communicating with people outside of the car. So they feel it has that media bar in the front too, that displays things. And I know like it can display like your charging info and stuff like when you have it plugged in. So obviously that's important. But I wonder if that's something we're going to see more of, like more vehicles like communicating or trying to be tethered to the outside world in some way.
Yeah, I could put a note that says "Leave me alone" or something.
Right, you know.
Although I did see somebody put this thing on their car, and it's like a hand, like like the hand signal to like cross the street, to cross the street, and they have one, and it like you can light it up so like it'll show like a middle finger or something, and you put it on your back window, and you just like click a button. It's very lame.
You have that on your Jeep?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Well, that's where we're going with the avatar. Soon your avatar will be able to do all that.
Yeah.
We'll have to flip the bird to anybody. Yes, the avatar.
Yeah.
And then don't take it up with the avatar. I didn't do it.
You know?
Or ideally, you would put someone else's avatar on it.
Yeah, good
Right.
point.
You sign into like your friend's profile and you're like, yeah, it was them, not me, you know.
So getting to something a little more realistic, Greg, you brought up the ID7, which I assume is a bigger, fully electric from Volkswagen.
Correct. Yeah, and it again a sedan. We have a four-door sedan, and it looks like this is kind of like going to try to continue the whole Passat line. It's obviously not called a Passat. They're moving away from it. We drove the last one this past year. Was our long
Last year,
term? It's a shame to see it go because I really liked the Passat. Every time we got in it, we're like, this is a nice sedan.
Pride of Chattanooga. Yeah.
The pride of Chattanooga. Yeah, so the ID7, the ID4 is an SUV. This is a sedan. The way we saw it at CES is it's technically not a production vehicle, although they didn't really call it a concept.
Correct.
So it's going to be it's close. What you see in the pictures, as I'm sure you're looking at this on your phone or if you're on your computer, this is basically what we'll see. We'll probably have a few minor changes, but that's pretty much what it'll look like. And it is definitely a Volkswagen. You can tell that right away. And they were estimating like over 400 miles of range.
I heard that, yeah.
They said
really 35.
they said the European was like 700
kilometers.
kilometers, so that is like over 400 miles. But then we always think lower because our testing is harsher.
The EPA standard.
So I mean, if it's inching toward 400 miles potentially on the production model, I mean that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean we're getting closer to that 500-mile benchmark, and we're talking about on a Volkswagen. We're not talking about a Lucid. We're not talking about a Tesla. We're talking about what should be a relatively mainstream EV. My only question is like how big is that battery going to be, and how quickly it's going to be on 800-volt charging. But the issue is nobody can get to these stations where they actually charge that fast. So yeah, I mean, like I'd love to be optimistic, but there's just always something in my head pulling me back to the pessimist point of view. And
Really?
yeah, I know. It's crazy, right?
Well, I mean, with this one too, it's more of like a luxury. They're kind of like leaning a bit more toward that like full-size luxury sedan.
The flagship, as the Passat was.
Yeah, I mean,
Or like a Phaeton to that level, or no?
I don't know. Well, it's hard to tell because like the design language on the inside is very similar to the ID4 that we've seen. And I mean, it's nice, but I guess I wouldn't say it was like
Are you Googling
luxurious.
Phaeton right now, Greg?
No,
It was a big Volkswagen, very luxurious.
I'm
back in the
making
day.
my avatar.
There you go.
So,
yeah.
Oh, go
No,
ahead.
yeah,
I was just going to move on to one that potentially has could be much bigger than all of these, and that's the Ram Revolution battery electric vehicle concept. Ford and GM have got their trucks out already. Just a matter of time before Ram brought theirs out. Still just a concept. But I'm not sure how many details. Did they give a whole lot of details spec-wise?
I mean, spec-wise.
No batteries or anything.
Yeah.
No range. No
I mean,
power.
just that it has 800-volt
Charging.
architecture. I mean, really, the biggest thing is that like it just has like some like quirky features to it, right? It's got
what?
like this tailgate that kind of pops out.
Yeah. No B pillar.
There's no B pillar.
Which is interesting. Third row jump seats.
Third row jump
on a
seat.
mid gate.
Nice.
Yeah, the mid gate can be, I think, lowered or raised or whatever to allow. It's like a pass through, but it's not like a Rivian pass through where it's that thing you put like a golf bag in or whatever.
right.
It's like the other ways. So you can, I think it's like up to 18 feet. You can put an object like through, probably like planks of wood and stuff.
Oh, wait, you mean from the front going all the way to the back?
Yeah, they can go from the bed all the way up to the front.
Yeah, that was in the original Rivian they showed at LA, and everybody was super excited about it. And that didn't make it into Rivian going front to back. I would love to see it finally make it through. I feel like that would be.
I mean,
an awesome
how much
feature.
would it be used though?
Well, where is it fit? Is
I'd
it
find
under
it
the
useful.
bed all the way through, or is it
it's like the pass through to get to the front
Yeah.
is underneath the screen.
so it's like right in the middle of the center console?
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know exactly.
I-
Is there a picture here?
I thought there was something like the.
Isn't it like here,
Yeah, like.
Wow.
or was it there?
If you need context, you can read our article on this just in. You can see
Yeah.
all of the pictures.
But it's I don't know how often it'd be. I think the idea of the pass through in the back and
Look,
I like that a lot.
it's a full-size pickup truck. The whole point is like, I don't know when I'm going to use it, but I
True.
could use
But
it.
I could, right.
I mean, if you're gonna haul some stuff,
You would-
the
yeah.
rare occasions that
I
one
hear what you're
uses a
saying,
pickup truck.
but I would.
a
That's
party
something that
trick,
I would definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'd use it once or twice and feel like I got my money's worth.
Yeah.
Well, the mid gate, going back to the Chevy Avalanche, I
Yeah.
mean, that was very practical, useful thing.
And I think the Silverado EV is
Yeah,
using
I
that
think brought
same
it-
thing,
yeah,
and
as
that's in
well.
the production
I
version.
think people like that. Like I think a lot
everybody
of
loved the Avalanche.
people are bummed that they can't get that on a truck that you could buy right now.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think it looks good. I just hate how
And-
big these things
they're
are.
huge, and they'll
So
have a
big.
performance version, as everybody is doing, and
It's
it'll be
terrifying.
crazy fast. And you're right, terrifying, really. I mean,
Because we
think
don't know
what we
how
did
heavy
that-
this thing is,
Right.
but you're
Yeah.
inching over 6,000 pounds, probably closer to 7 at least, depending on
But
how big the battery is.
It does have four-wheel steering, so hey.
And I'm
We
a
got
huge
that
proponent
going.
of that.
I'm a big
Oh my
fan of
God.
that because if you're going to have something this big and long, you need four-wheel steering.
Completely changes the drive experience of a full-size pickup if you have that. And I'm talking like not four-wheel steering from 10 years ago, the new four-wheel steering. Where we're
Right.
talking like 15 degrees of turning. It's sweet.
It is definitely a cool looking truck and lots of feet. I just wish, obviously it gets a lot of excitement. I just wish they would give you a little more as far as facts,
Yeah.
That would make me more excited to know, like,
Well, it's serving as kind of like a precursor to the eventual production model, which I think we'll learn more about probably this year or
Right.
next. So I think this is just kind of to whet the appetite. Like here's what it could be.
Do you think it looks Ram-like? I think this is like if Tesla made a truck. Like this is what what the Cybertruck.
the
should have
grill
looked
is
like.
less than an acre in size, so I'm not sure.
But it does say Ram on it, so you know it's Ram.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
It literally says Ram.
Yeah, it's got the.
It says it a couple places
It's got the
too.
main Ram characteristic, so I give it a pass.
I guess
think it looks all right. Yeah, I like it.
It'll be interesting
It'll
to
look
see.
it'll look mostly nothing like this though.
True,
but,
good point.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised at how many F-150 Lightnings I've seen on the road.
Yeah.
They're,
Yeah.
they're
That's a weekly
definitely getting them out
occurrence.
there. Yeah,
They're so easy to spot too
And they're
with that
never
light
telling
bar.
anything.
or hauling anything.
They're just Well, that's a subject for another podcast.
So yeah, that's probably it as far as the major debuts there at CES. Anything else anybody saw they wanted to mention? I saw that new postal van was pretty wild. Did you see that?
They had it there at
Yeah,
CES. It should be interesting once we start seeing them on the roads.
I don't even know.
We're talking about the one that was like debuted
I
like
don't
a
even
year
know
or
how
so
to
ago.
describe it. It's like super cartoonish looking.
Yeah, it's got like a
the
beak.
super
Yeah.
long, bubbly
Yeah.
windshield. Yeah.
Oh, they showed that already somewhere?
I thought, well, they had been like, they did a whole reveal of the next generation mail truck like a while ago, but I'm not sure anybody's actually seen it until
it was
CES.
mostly
That was
just
it.
renderings.
Okay. No, they had one there, and it's MAIL truck, not MALE truck.
Yeah,
Just so
MAIL,
everyone,
correct.
Yeah. Just so everyone's square, we don't get in trouble.
USPS.
We're talking about mail delivery. Yes.
Mail delivery,
Yes.
yeah. No, I mean, it's a funky looking thing. I don't even know when they're set to hit the streets.
I don't know, but
Or-
it's pretty cool looking.
They built them or
Makes
not.
me want to get back into snail mail. All right. Well, CES, always fun, always lots to talk about. Let's move on to another topic that's equally conversation starting, at least around our offices lately. And this is our lightning round question. Each person will have 30 seconds to discuss this topic. Charging an EV is a little more complicated than fueling up at a gas station. And as electric vehicle adoption increases, more and more people are using public chargers, and their etiquette or lack thereof is being noticed. What are some things you consider charging etiquette? I'll start with you, Greg, because I know you got a lot to say.
Yeah, I might take your 30 seconds here. So
You're welcome to them.
Now that we're, as everybody has noticed, we're testing a lot more EVs now, so we have to charge them more frequently, and we can't always wait overnight. So we've been taking advantage of our DC fast chargers. Electrify America has one very close to us. And it wasn't until this past week or 2 weeks that I've noticed that there are actually people charging at these stations. It's no longer just us, because for a while it was.
Right, yep.
I know I live in Frederick, so there's a few more people at that station. But here in Owings Mills, it had been a while. So I went over the other day. There was completely full up. I'm like, wow, that's odd. Come by the next day, completely full up. So
And there's like 4 chargers there.
Yeah, and
Four or five.
it's becoming an issue, which made me think of etiquette, because as I was able to get a spot the second day, there were 3 other cars who had been there a while, and you can see state of charge on the screens. And there are people waiting. There are actually people waiting in the parking lot to get in there. And I'm seeing like 75, 80%, over 80%. People are sleeping in their cars as they're charging. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not like the czar of charging, but you have to think that the etiquette is like, once you get to like 80%, which is really what you should be doing on a fast charger, 20 to 80%, like you got to get up and go, especially if somebody's waiting, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, it's okay to be sleeping in your car, whatever you're doing in your car is fine. If you're shopping, whatever. But, once you are over that 80% and you're still sleeping in your car, I feel like it's in poor taste to continue to sit there, and especially if you see somebody waiting for you.
Right.
That might even be worse than if you're sleeping.
Yeah, and at a time when common courtesy to your fellow man is at its all-time low, at the same time, we're even trying to force people to buy electric vehicles, but then not really have many places for them to charge them. So we may see some charge rage. I'm going to coin that.
Charge rage.
I just coined that phrase.
the patent.
Someone mark the
Okay.
digital tape. We're going to start seeing charge rage going on with people that can't get their cars charged.
I think it's frustrating because of people like not understanding, like you said, you charge to 80%, and that's what you should be
That's
doing
what
on
the
a fast
stations
charger.
are for. They're really not for you to go to 100%, because it takes forever. I mean,
That's just the nature of any battery. I mean, it's like, oh, wow, my phone is charging really quick, except for the last 20%. Like, that's just the nature of how batteries work. It's also detrimental to your battery to be charging it, like trickle charging it on a fast charger. And one thing I also see a lot, like poor charge etiquette, is like people will, like in a shopping center, they have all these spots now that are like for electric cars, and they have like usually level 2 chargers on them. And people will like have an electric car and park in that spot and like don't plug in. They just
Right.
use it as a spot
Yeah.
to just be like, well, I have an electric car. I
Yeah.
can use this spot. That's okay.
Or if you're in an EV and you need to plug in, and there's someone
plug-in
Yeah.
plug-in hybrid there. Yeah.
Or I've also seen in places where they put the spots like really close to the stores, just random cars will just be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's the closest spot. I'll just park there because it's an empty spot.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, that's not charging etiquette that's just etiquette at being a good person in general.
The reason I don't have steam coming out of my ears yet is because I do understand that it's still early. I mean, this is new to everybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody does deserve a grace period. But it's the conversation should be started at this point, because like I just said, now people are charging at these stations. You're not always going to get your electricity right away.
And there's
I know that in
exceptions.
theory you should, like, and people who hate EVs are probably saying, well, I should be able to pull up and charge in this amount of time and get 100%. I hear you. I think that would be awesome, and I think we have to strive to get there. But the fact is, we are not
Even
we
close.
need to, right, we're not even close. And it's just a necessary evil at this point. Like, we just have to do it to move to where we want to be.
And there has to be some kind of like, it's not like you can just go a couple miles down the road to the next charging station.
No.
Like some towns, you get one or two options.
Right.
And if you're traveling, you may not have enough miles to get to the next town, so you've
It's
got to wait.
true, right?
Yeah.
So that's like an exception. Like, say you're on a road trip and you're kind of in a rural place that that charging stations are few and far between, right? It would make sense to be like, if somebody's like, hey, can I be like, if you went up to somebody and you were like, hey, I see you're at 85%. Do you mind if I plug in? Then maybe, but then they were like, well, I need to be at like 90 or 95 to get to the next charging station. You know what I mean? Like, there's exceptions to it, but that's part of etiquette, right? Like being a good person, just having common sense, and also just not plugging your like bolt into a 350 kilowatt charger.
And I do know that some charging stations, they can start charging you extra if
For
it's fully
wait time.
charged.
If
Yeah.
you leave it plugged in,
If you-
yes, like a lot. Like, it's not cheap to leave it plugged
Alex,
in.
we've been just going on.
No. I mean,
So-
I still use the shopping cart method as my litmus test in a parking lot. You know, if someone doesn't return the cart to the little thing or to the front, then I know like they're probably not a great person. So I'm still at that point. But I will say that I'll end this topic on a positive note. Last time I was because I went to the Target up the road and charged or whatever. I was with Steven and we pulled up or backed into a charger or whatever, and before we got out, the guy next to us got out and was like, oh, hey, that one's not working. You need to go over another one. And I know that's pretty
Oh, that was
inconsequential,
nice.
but like, I know like I'm a recluse. Like, I don't talk to people, but I thought that was pretty nice.
Were
that,
you
like,
taking a
yeah, I was like, whoa, man, get back in the car.
I have mace.
But he was, he got out and was like, hey, because, that's another, thing is obviously chargers don't work sometimes. So it was
Right.
nice that this guy was like, hey, before
And-
someone else snags it, like, move
And
over.
for some reason, like the charger, the station doesn't say like out of order.
Yeah.
Or, like,
No,
You
no.
plug and unplug like 3 times.
sorry, try to get maybe the 6th time's a charm. I don't know.
Well, yeah. So that's
a good
all I
point.
have to
Way
say.
to end it on a very positive note.
I try. I try.
Let's move on before
That's
we
why
go
he's
back
here.
down the dark side.
Well, we have a very important question here from a very important person. This is a question from former MotorWeek employee Joe Ligo. And anyone that hangs out in the classic car scene or knows anything about American Motors,
He's working on a documentary.
you know the name Joe Ligo. He sends us this interesting question. If someone gave you $5,000, $50,000, and $500,000, which I guess he could have just said if someone gave us
$55,000, yeah.
but whatever. What car would you buy with each amount of money? Who wants to go first on this question?
Let's give Alex the run.
Alex,
this time.
you go first.
Jeez. Okay. All right. Well, $5,000. Not a lot of money these days. I would actually, if I can, a little bit of a wild card. I would buy a motorcycle. Buy like a used,
that's fair.
It's a good
maybe
one.
a Honda Rebel or CBR. I'm not I haven't ridden enough bikes to like have an allegiance yet, but
Right.
I'm kind of looking at the Hondas.
Plenty
so,
of good used
you know.
bikes out there
Yeah,
for $5,000.
so-
Absolutely.
I think that's my $5,000 answer. The $50,000, I think a year ago we got asked like a similar questions like for Christmas, like you get one car, $50,000. I said I made a joke about getting a Bronco and then like a Kia Stinger. That probably still holds true. I have driven other vehicles that would here at MotorWeek.
Hurry up and get that Stinger going on.
Yeah,
I know. But I guess if used cars are in the market, that opens up a whole lot of things,
I assumed used cars were part of this.
like for 50
Yeah,
grand,
yeah,
like
whatever.
I mean, I got a project at home. I just put it in, to be honest. And then for $500,000, I mean, like, can I just buy a house? Like, is that an option? Or can I buy a garage that also kind of has a house?
Sounds good to me.
No, I don't know. That put me down for like a Ford GT if I could still get one. Why not? Go full send.
That would make sense.
Full
That would
send.
make sense.
Jessica, what are your 3?
Well, so for they're all actually weirdly 4x4s, which is kind of odd because I thought I would have like picked at least maybe like a sports car. But so first up would be for $5,000, I would buy a 2005 Chevy Tahoe because those things can survive the apocalypse and they basically run forever. Obviously one without rust. Because the
Might
rust
cost you a little more than $5,000.
yeah, maybe. But and then for $50,000, It wouldn't be exactly 50. It'd be a little over 50, but I would get a Defender 90 for sure. I was a big fan of when we tested it.
The new one?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was like everything I wished my Jeep could do.
Wow.
I think, because it was just that it was that like bit of luxury in a 4x4. I really hadn't had a lot of experience with Land Rovers before, so I think
that'd be a great marketing slogan for them. Everything you wish your Jeep
Everything
would
my
do.
Jeep doesn't do.
My Jeep is also much cheaper. But and then for $500,000, I think it's not. It wouldn't be up to. It would be, I guess, probably closer to like $300,000 or $400,000, but probably a G-Wagon, like a 4x4 squared.
Thought about that.
Because
Just customize it a little bit. That'll get you up to $500,000.
Yeah, a custom paint job. Yeah.
You could get a GLB as like a dinghy for the back.
That would be so awesome. Oh my God.
Greg?
Yeah, I was gonna go Miata, but I've already owned one, so
Been there, done that.
5,000. Let's just do a beater 4Runner. It can have
Nice.
it can have rust.
Yeah.
It would have to.
Third gen 4Runner, second gen maybe, but just
That's
a
a good
beater.
pick.
I like a beater car. I just like as much as I appreciate like a good clean car, I also know who I am and what I am. And sometimes I'm just like, I got to get in and go. I got to throw this on the floor or I bump into that. I don't care. I need a beater. 50,000, I'll go Golf R, just because I enjoyed the one we had at Roebling last year. I think it's useful enough in this world where I get this amount of money, I still have a wife and kids.
True.
So I'll go Golf R. And then 500,000, I thought about G-Wagon, but I decided to go with I did that story on ECD down in Florida where they take those old Defenders and turn them into these awesome new modern Defenders. So I'll take a Defender 110 with an LT4 supercharged V8. And then I'll just go crazy with the interior. I mean, like the finest leather, all kinds of cool gadgets and personalizations, and just go all the way up to $500,000. And that's what I'm
awesome.
That's
rocking.
a good one.
That was awesome. Very good answers. Moving. Anyone have a rant?
Well,
or
we
rate?
don't get
Yeah, you don't have any.
I'm the host. I don't have to get answers. I don't know about five. I would just go on like whatever online buying site is the popular one these days, and just
Bring a
see,
trailer, you get to 500,000 real quick.
Oh yeah.
see whatever
And you'll
pops.
get the weirdest thing for $500,000.
Yeah, the 5 and 50 would be hard. The 500,000, if I'm going to spend that much, I'm definitely going to be sleeping in it.
Yeah.
To Alex's point, so I would definitely get like a really nice RV for that. But with the other ones, just whatever I came across that looked like a good buy.
I like it. Just slap
Rational.
50,000 in some guy's hand. I like what you got there. Don't care what it is.
All right, anyone have a rant or a rave? I know
Yeah.
we kind of got into it a little bit with the EV charging etiquette, but anything
I
else?
can always rant.
What do you got?
Just curious what your guys' feelings is on you wake up on a spring morning and you have condensation on your driver's side window. Can't look out, can't see out. So traditionally in cars, I always felt like I could put the window down, whether it be power or manual, and you bring it back up and it's kind of squeegeed the water off. But I'm noticing in a lot of the cars we drive, and even my wife's 2014 Mazda, they don't squeegee anymore. Like, I don't know if it's a new thing or maybe I'm just like really only focusing on the times where they don't squeegee that water off. But has anybody else had issues with this, and has it infuriated them like it has me?
I have definitely noticed that as well. It seems to be, I don't know if they use different kind of weather stripping there because of aero reasons or cost reasons. But yeah, there's definitely a difference in the way the glass window contacts the inside of the door when it goes down.
My Jeep will only do, like, I'll put it down, and when I put it back up, it'll do like half.
I'll take that over
And I'm
nothing.
like, okay, but it's like annoying. But I definitely noticed that same thing. Like, for whatever reason, like even today there was like condensation on the windows of the car that I drove this morning, and I tried to clear it off, like just putting the windows down, thinking that would work. But yeah, no, it didn't.
Next preview I go on, I want to get with an engineer. I know sometimes when we have these, like we got to talking about one pedal driving and all that stuff, and then I'll get with some engineers and we'll see if I can get an answer for
report
this.
back on that. Let's
it's-
revisit this.
You've piqued my interest very much so. Anything else? Anything to add? Nobody? All right, with that, we'll bring it to a close. We'll thank David Wainwright, our audio engineer, podcast producer Jessica Ray, and of course, Bob Mixter, the creator of All Things Podcast. And be sure to tune in and watch us and listen to us in all the usual places. And thanks for watching MotorWeek.
You have been listening to the podcast of MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine. MotorWeek is made possible by Lucas Oil, Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, and TireRack.com.